Southeast Asia's poorest countries, where rugby really is changing women's lives. In the remote highlands of central Laos, there's a small farming village called Nong Het. It's a day's drive from the capital, Vientiane, and far from the tourist trail. With one main street, one market, and very little else. Except this. Nong Het is Laos's rugby country, the unlikely centre of a growing pastime in this landlocked Southeast Asian nation. A few years ago, there were only 300 rugby players in all of Laos. Today, there are 3,000, according to the country's rugby federation, and more than half of them are female. This is the story of how that came to be, and of the women fighting so that rugby can keep gaining ground here. Because the sport's survival in Laos is far from certain. Rugby in Laos dates back to the French colonial period, when it was played mostly by expatriates. But 9 years ago, a local NGO introduced the sport here. One of the poorest regions in Laos, teaching children life skills and tag rugby in a program called Pass It Back.
We see soccer, for example, as a sport for boys, but when rugby came in and it was so new that nobody could tell whether this sport is for girls and for boys, and many girls started to try and they love it, and it became very popular in Nong Het.
But children can't just play anywhere. During the Vietnam War, Laos became one of the most heavily bombed nations in the world. And today, that decades-old unexploded ordnance is still scattered across the land.
One location we play at has a deep sinkhole near it. There's a warning sign near the sinkhole for unexploded ordnance. Once, our ball fell in the hole. It was very dangerous and I was afraid.
And that's not all the Nong Het locals have to contend with. Today, there's a bullfight, and no hope of practice beginning until a victor emerges. Bao Chang took up the game aged 10. Now she's 18 and coaching, which means a small but vital income.
If I didn't play rugby, I don't think I'd have good clothes. I wouldn't have opportunities to go abroad, and I wouldn't have come this far.
By many estimates, more than 20% of Laos's population lives below the poverty line. It can be higher in rural areas. Daily chores like shopping, walking to and from the market, and preparing firewood to cook can take all day.
I do feel a lot of pressure between school, housework, and rugby. I have to plan and manage my schedule well to do it all.
Adding to her concerns, few girls here actually finish school. Many parents keep daughters home to help with housework. Some push them into early marriage, even as young as 15. All of Bao's best friends are already married.
My parents want me to focus on my studies so that I can have a good job. And then I can get married, and I won't be a burden to him.
Bao's dream is to play full-time, inspired by players like Charlotte Caslick, Australia's Rugby 7 star and Olympic gold medal winner. Caslick came here last year.
I want to be like Charlotte Caslick. She plays rugby so well and has such dedication.
There are local role models too, like 27-year-old Lao Kang, who was recently named in Forbes' 30 Under 30 Asia list. She quit school at age 13. 7 years later, Lao joined the rugby program here. Now she's on the national team, earning around $100 a season. Not a lot, but rugby literally changed her life, she says. Which is why Lao's now passing it back herself, mentoring other coaches in strength, discipline and gender equality.
I am really happy to be a part of it. I'm just one Laotian who works in rugby and can help develop children in my community. And people can see that playing rugby is not all about violence, but it is also about life skills.
Nong Het's rugby program has now spread to other remote areas of Laos, as well as Vietnam and the Philippines. There are many obstacles to the game's success, but these women are fighting and hopeful, not only for glory on the pitch, but for the changes rugby makes in their lives off the field, even in the most far-flung corners of the world.